Well, hello there, my lovers, and welcome back to another episode of the Allotment Family Diary. Why am I talking a Devonshire accent? That's because this channel is dedicated to documenting family life on 5 half allotment plots in the southwest of the United Kingdom. That's right, good old sunny Devon. Look at that, right on cue, the sun has come out. So what's going on in this week's episode? As you guys know, last week in part 1 of All Systems Grow, we began to put everything in the ground. The weather's warmed up, it's time to get everything on the grow. So this week, we're going to be popping in the sweet corn. We're also going to be popping in the pumpkins and our butternut squash. And you know what? Because we've worked so hard over these past 4 weeks or so, we'll celebrate at the end with a little family get together at the plot. Come on, let's go and have a look at what's going on. It's Monday, the 28th of April, and it's an amazingly sunny day and it's very hot. So what better time to get the corn in the ground? So if you're anything like us, our family, we eat a lot of corn. We love corn so much that we have getting on for 100 plants here. The majority of this corn, not these here, these are shop bought, but these were grown from seed by us. The germination rate was pretty good. I mean, I would say roughly about 70% of them germinated. I know a lot of people have been having trouble germinating corn this year from what I've seen online, but we did buy a few backups just in case we didn't have enough. So the variety we've got here is incredible, and Tilly has grown this for several years now, and it's always been really sweet, really tasty. The shop bought variety at the end is just called extra sweet. So I don't know, the leaves look a slightly different shade of green to the incredible that we've grown, but we'll see how they turn out later on in the year. So this corn is being grown on mine and Hans plot. It's being grown in a large plot, probably the largest area we've got up here, which is roughly about 16 by 16 feet. As most of you are probably aware, corn does grow better when it's put into squares. So this will provide some support when the wind blows to stop the corn from falling over. So we're dividing the big plot into 4 sections, which are roughly about 7.5 by 8 foot. Calculations are a bit strange because it's slightly longer than it is wide. So the corn is going to be planted about 14 inches apart per plant, and by my calculations I think we can get 20 corn in each section of that plot, so 80 corn in total. Now if those calculations seem a little bit off, that's because we're doing something quite fun this year. Some of you guys suggested that we go for the 3 sisters method a while ago, but because we live in the UK, various people have said it doesn't quite work. The beans tend to block out the shade from the corn. However, the squash and the corn should work quite nicely. So let me show you what I've done with that plot, because it explains the measurements and the spacing a little bit better. Let's go and have a look. Hi Chase, hello. Chase is here again. So this is the plot, and I have been hard at work measuring out things, how this is going to pan out. Now, as I mentioned to you guys about the 3 sister thing, what's the 2 sister thing? So first off, as you can see here, we have the 4 sections. So 4 sections here, and I've just measured this out and marked it with my feet. I'm going to get some fence panels to put down so we don't wreck the ground, but it's really important to leave pathways for when you're watering the corn. So as you can see as well, there are several bamboo canes in the ground here, and these are markers for the squash. So we are growing butternut hunter this year, and each one I have roughly spaced. Some are 3 feet apart, which is the recommended, and others are about 2. So I know Tilly's grown it in the past. She's had success doing it roughly about 2 feet apart as well. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think the idea is to plant them, it's roughly a foot in from the border of the plot. Chase is just wanting so much fuss. Hi. Distractions. So it's roughly about a foot in, and then the corn will go another foot away from the squash. So there's a car going past, if you heard that. So if you can see, obviously, one there. And that's the marker for where the first corn is going to be planted. So we have 2 feet from the edge of the plot up to where the corn starts. And then the squash will be planted here, here, all the way down on those markers, and it will grow in between the corn. Yeah, so I had to do lots of maths, and that's not my strong point, unfortunately, but I think this will work. So the idea with the almost companion planting, these 2 things, is that these squash will grow in between the corn, and that will provide ground coverage. So hopefully it will cut down on weeds, so we won't have to weed as much, fingers crossed. The other thing that it's going to do is help keep the moisture in the ground, so it's going to retain moisture, which would be a great thing. So hopefully if we have a blazing hot summer, I won't have to water as much, but we'll see. I think it would just be healthier for the plants. Okay, so the first row is in. Here we go. We've got 8 out of 80 in the ground. Let's take you a little bit closer and show you how I'm planting these. I always think it's good to show this part of the video, because some of you guys, you may find it boring, but hopefully not. And also, it means I can look back on this next year, see what I did in the future perhaps, if I made any mistakes, what I could improve on. And hopefully, what's that, a stick? Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, do let me know in the comments. So let's dig that out. Pop in water now. And then pick a specimen from here. We'll go with that one. And then making sure it's in line with the one above. Let's bury him in. This ground is quite stony. Should be fine. This is where we had our green manure. And this has all been dug in. So hopefully we'll see a bumper crop of corn. We'll have to see how that green manure does this year. So that's it. And I think the important thing with corn is to really firm it in, because this plot is quite open and we do have winds up here, but hopefully that will keep it in place. Quick progress update, guys. It's 7:20. The sun is going down. It's still quite warm. Anyway, I am halfway through. Okay, so I've still got this to do. You kind of get into a rhythm, to be honest, but it's just time consuming. And also just measuring them out, just making sure the spacing is equal between all of them, because I want them to look nice and uniform. It's just my thing, but I think it'll also help with wind protection. You grow them in cubes, and yeah, it helps protect them from the wind. So we're getting there. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm done. That was quite a slog, I'm not gonna lie. So I've got 86 corn in the ground. I think what I'll do is come up here tomorrow when it's light, film it, and explain why there's 86, because I had to rejig things. But yeah, I'm really tired. That was quite grueling, but we're done. All right, see you tomorrow. It's another beautiful day again. So yeah, let's show you the corn in the daylight. I've just counted them up. I got my calculations wrong. I just must have been tired last night, I think. So we have 61 incredible, and we have 20 of the extra sweet, I think it was called. Yeah. And basically I added more or reshuffled things. You can see the corn is it's slightly off center from the path, but I just wanted to make sure we had access going right through to be able to water them. But yeah, it was quite hard work getting those in up until 9 o'clock last night, but at least it's done. They're all done, and now we just have to make sure we keep them watered. Nick and Tilly were saying it's really important to keep them watered, and especially with this lovely weather at the moment. It's so warm, it's so nice. Everything is just growing crazy. Just had to trim the path because the grass was going mental as well. Right, anyway, let's see what else we can get up to. Now here's something that I have really been looking forward to. It's pumpkin time. Now over here I have our zombie pumpkins, and over here I have the warty goblins. As you guys may remember, these were sown on the 31st of March in our polytunnel. No heat mats, no grow lights, nothing like that. Just in the polytunnel, all on their own. Now, when it came to germination rates, well, the zombie pumpkins, I planted 8 of these and all 8 of them came up. When it came to the warty goblins, again, I planted 8, but only 7 of the 8 came up. So, you know, that's not bad, really. So both of these pumpkins, they look extremely ugly, extremely warty. They've got these big nodules on them, and apparently they are very, very nice roasted. So we're gonna have pumpkins coming out of our ears this year, all being well. I want to put these guys in the ground today. They've been hardening off for over a week outside, and we have had some fairly low temperatures at night, but they are completely fine. We're going to do 4 zombie and 4 goblin. I am going to keep spares because if we do get slug attacks, or perhaps the weather does get slightly too cold, then we've got replacements, which will be brilliant. So the patch we're sowing them on, just in front of me over here. As you guys know, we also keep chickens, and we are lucky enough to have a steady supply of chicken manure to spread over our plots. Now, the chicken manure we use has rested for at least 6 months before we use it. Otherwise, you're likely to end up hurting the plants if you put it in when it's fresh. So that chicken manure, and also the old bits of cleaned out material such as straw, has been sat on that plot, dug in, raked over, and we've also applied a light layer of 6X fertilizer. Now that plot has been prepared, it is time to get them in, and I should say the date as well. So it's the 6th of May today, Tuesday the 6th of May. It's nice to keep dates of things so you know when you put stuff in and how long it's taken to grow. Yeah, right, let's get you guys in the ground. First things first, I have dug some initial holes for the pumpkins to go in. So we're going to have 4 up each side, and I'm placing them approximately 3 feet apart. So the idea is they will go in the holes up here and they will trail across the plot. And I've kind of staggered the holes as well. So whereas one will sort of trail this way, one will then trail that way. Let's get one of these goblins, warty goblins, in the ground. I just want to show you what I'm doing. So basically we've got the hole dug, and I have added some multi-purpose compost and chicken manure pellets in here. Make sure it's all nice and broken up, and I'm just going to make a little well in the middle, give it a water. There we go, just let that settle in, and then we'll get the old warty goblin out of his packet. Let's see what the roots are like. Yeah, ready to go in, definitely. Okay, so what I'll do is ever so slightly try and turn it so you can see it. Just tease the roots out a bit at the bottom to help it establish itself in the ground, and then I'm going to pop him into the hole, and then let's cover him up with the compost mix that we've put in. So the reason why I'm putting in the compost into this hole, you might think, well, why have you not put it across the entire plot? Well, the rest of the plot has been nicely fertilized with the chicken manure and 6X already, and we want to focus on where the roots begin from on the plant. So right here, so this is where it's going to establish itself. As you guys probably know, pumpkins will trail outwards, and they will send out vines, and then they will send out roots into the ground. So the rest of the plot will provide all the nutrition that the plants need when the vines start to grow outwards. We just want to focus on this area to give it a really good head start. So that's in, it's watered, and then I'm going to build a little fort around the outside. I'm going to put up a barricade. I'll just move that out of the way, and I've got some of the soil here. Let's make sure it's all nicely crumpled. Now, these are methods that I have learnt from other veteran gardeners up here, and also Tilly as well, obviously. And the same thing applies to squash, because pumpkins and squash are part of the same family. So we're going to make this trench, make sure it's all nice and compacted in with the soil, especially down here because our plots slope. This whole allotment site is on a huge hill, So what we want to do with this is whenever we go to water it, we're going to make sure we're watering in this crater here. And because we've got this slope up, none of the water is going to spill down the hill and go out onto the plot and grow more weeds, because yeah, it's weed time, isn't it guys? Full of weeds. And now with the magic of editing, let's fast forward time and show you what the entire plot looks like with all of those pumpkins in it. Just to finish off the evening, 16 butternut hunter squash, all grown from seed in our very own polytunnel, all planted into the ground using exactly the same method as we used to plant the pumpkins. Lovely end to a day. A job well done. It's Saturday, the 10th of April. It's the afternoon and it's lovely and sunny once again. I thought, guys, it's been such a hard couple of weeks getting things into the ground. I think it's time to take a moment to look back and see what we've achieved so far. Let's start with the leek patch. Not much going on there, but we do have 2 rows of mammoth pot leeks in the ground. The first 2 rows, we're going to stagger them. As you know, we're also growing mussel burr, and these will be planted further down the plot as time progresses. But the first 2 rows are in the ground. Moving on from the leek plot, we have the onions, the red and white onions. So these, if you notice, there's some curling on the greens, and it could be due to the hot weather that we've had recently, or it could be due to pests. I've spoken to some of the old veterans up here. They've said it's nothing to worry about, but we are just going to keep on top of watering. And beside the onions, our parsnip seeds are finally in the ground. So the other day I dug over this bed. I've added some specialist seed compost and sown the parsnip seeds in here. Now the glass on the top, you may be wondering why that's there. It's just an experiment because I want to make sure that the soil temperatures are still consistent and nice and warm at night. And you know, it's also going to stop a certain someone from walking on them. Beside the parsnips, we have the melon house. Now I'm only going to open this briefly and show you what's going on, because if I open it for any longer than 10 minutes, the melons have a bit of a hissy fit. So there we are, the Sugar Baby and the Malaga F1, 2 of those over there. They've got flowers coming on them, which is great. There's 2 over here. See, they've wilted a bit. That's because I had the flap open earlier, and again they throw a hissy fit. I've tried and tested this, so I need to keep it closed, so I'm going to shut that now. There, those melons are all nicely snug and tucked away. So we'll move back past the parsnips, past the herb bed. We'll just check in on the pumpkins. These are doing fine, absolutely fine. I have put down a few slug pellets because, like I say, this year I'm not taking any chances. But yeah, they're looking nice and healthy. So let's turn around. Oh, I nearly forgot. Look at all those lovely poached eggplants. They have all self-seeded from last year. I planted a few, started them off in the polytunnel, and hopefully next year the entire row will be filled. So let's head into the paddock. At the rear of the paddock we have a number of backup plants. We have the leeks, more Cape gooseberries there. We also have several plants that we acquired from our seed swap up here. If you haven't seen that video, check out one of the members only vlogs, link in the channel description to that one. And then we'll look up here. So the Akoya tomatoes are doing very well. There's been some substantial growth. That one's just started to flower. And then down here, strawberries. The strawberries are starting to flower as well. Again, we have a few plants just to like brighten up the place, you know, make it look a bit nicer that I got today. And of course, 2 more Akoya up there. Do you want a quick sneak peek inside the shed? Should we have a look? It's nice and tidy, and that is in preparation for tonight, which you'll see very soon on this video. Let's head outside. Just leaving the shed and the paddock. The garlic's coming on quite nicely, although it has got rust. Yeah, so unfortunately there's nothing we can do about that. It may hamper the bulb size, I don't know, we're going to have to see what happens. But yeah, again, the old vets say don't worry about it, but it does make you worry, doesn't it, these things. I'll just film over there. We've got the flower patch. Again, things are just growing along nicely. We got the 10-week stock there, and the rose bed that needs a bit of a weed out, and also 3 sunflowers, giant sunflowers, which we planted from seed. I put them in last night, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be all right and safe from the slugs. We'll have to see. I will take you into the greenhouse quickly. We'll have a look and see what's going on in there. So these are the grafted eggplants, the grafted aubergines that I did cheat and buy from a garden centre, but again, they're doing really well in the greenhouse. There's a cucumber female F1 variety. I caved and bought that from a garden centre just to see how it would get on, and it's doing quite well. We have a crystal lemon cucumber, and here we have the Poland cucumber, which, if you can just about see, is getting its first flowers. That one's doing really well too. So we have left the greenhouse. We're back onto our second plot here. And yeah, the sugar snaps, they're all doing well. They have grown slightly, but you know, it's not been a great amount of time since they've been put in anyway. And we'll have a look in the paddock here. Our herbs. We've got the dill and also the tarragon. Strawberries, more strawberries. Again, they're flowering, they're doing quite well too. And at the back, a herb and cucumber shelf. So on the left over there, a crystal lemon. We've got 2 different varieties of thyme, and we have another Poland cucumber. So these are just going to grow up the back of the wiring there. And then we'll spin you around here. The runner beans, again, doing well. You can see them doing their thing, climbing up the poles. We've seen the cherry trees last week. They've got cherry black fly, but it's fine. We're going to leave that for the ladybirds. And we've also netted the figs. So that's another job ticked off the list, because there are squirrels up here. And also lots of birds that are going to eat our lovely new figs. I've got to net these cherry trees too. The corn and the squash. Again, they're doing well, they're growing away. We're watering the corn every other day at the moment, and the same with the squash. And if we take a look in here, this is just plants I don't know what to do with, like spare plants, so we're just leaving them to do their thing up here, because the idea this year is to kind of keep as much as we can, not chuck things away or give away plants if we don't need them to neighbours. So moving on from the plant warehouse, what have we got here? So Hannah's edible flower garden. So we have violas, nasturtiums, both edible flowers, and I've also planted some calendula seeds and Bellis perennis in here as well, so we'll see if those come up in the next week or so. We've got more courgettes here, Summer Sun and Astia, and as you can see, the courgettes are coming. They're coming already. Yeah, so I've watched those grow. They're not just the female flower, they have actually been pollinated, obviously because they're outside and the bees can get to them. And then, quick view of the top half of the site. Let's just turn around, have a quick look back at the plot. Oh, that's Tilly over there. Yeah, oh, let's look at, you can tell summer's on the way. It's on the way. But anyway guys, let's head to my favourite area. Do an update on this. The chilies. So we have the Jalmundo and the jalapeno. which were the guest chilies from South Devon Chili Farm. We have 2 Bishop's Crown in there, baby ones. And over here are the more advanced Bishop's Crown. So they're doing really well. Lovely and green. And over this side we have Crimson Crush tomatoes, because I'm kind of trying to stagger the tomato growth this year. There's a couple of spare cucumbers. These are probably going to end up in our garden at home, I think. Also, along with these eggplants, these are Black Beauty grown from seed. More chilies up here. So the Cha-Cha and the Purple Flash, again from South Devon Chili Farm. And we have the Machu Picchu grown from seed at home. Some Fiery Flames on the way and some Mysera peppers. But let's have a quick update on the tomatoes, shall we? So yeah, look at them. They are growing along nicely. The basil, I have been pruning the basil as well, and it's very tasty. So the slanted canes are just to kind of support the plant. They haven't fallen over, don't worry. But yeah, we've got a lot of flowers coming on the brandywine there, and also on the honeycomb at the back there. Another brandywine. So they're all doing really well in here at the moment. I'm watering about every other day for now because it is quite hot. And then over here, the wind's blowing the door open. We've got the Delirio and Fiesta peppers. Again, we've got the first flowers coming on those, and the marigolds have started to flower as well. So yeah, again, it's all looking really nice and healthy. So yeah, the promise of summer on its way. We're getting there. That area up there will be for salad crops, but I will say, as you can see, we get the odd slug in here, and those marigolds are working as a distraction for the slugs. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little quick tour, whistle stop tour of what's growing on at the plot. Plenty more work to do, as always. But you know what, it's all very well working hard on the plot, but sometimes it's nice to sit back, just appreciate what you've done, and perhaps share that time with family and friends, which is what we're going to do this evening. Yeah, we've had a lovely evening. It's been a very hard few weeks of getting everything into the ground, and there's still so much more to plant. But yeah, we've had a nice day, haven't we, Flo? Yeah. And we've got Tor here. You're very sleepy now, aren't you?
Tor, do you want to go home?
You said yes, please.
Yeah?
Yeah. You want to go home? Yeah, he wants to go home.
Tor, do you want to go home?
Yeah, he does. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys.
Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member.
Yeah. Lots of behind the scenes stuff going on. Behind the scenes stuff of our lovely family gathering today, and also just like general bits that we get up to with the family. And lots of this little guy, isn't there? Yeah. Anyway, see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Right, and then we just walk off camera like this, Flo.